It's actually crazy how many stupid ideas I sometimes have. So it's extremely hot outside, and I thought that the best idea for a video would be to come outside to this beautiful forest and make a video. Turns out it's not the best idea when it's 35 degrees outside. We're not gonna worry about that, because today I have an album to talk about. Before we begin, obviously, I would like to make a shout out of every patron I have on my Patreon that I have recently launched. You should support Darkai Gaming, Ibrahim Povataj, Josh Berg, Sean Kuglan, and the man himself, and Doherty. Why would you pick such a weird nickname? Tell me. If you haven't noticed yet, I have launched Patreon recently. You should go check it out. There's already a exclusive video on Patreon for you to check it out. And let's jump into this video. Today we're going to review Crown the Empire Sudden Sky. This album isn't something that I was super hyped for ever since it was announced. You know, Crown the Empire isn't the band that I can call like one of the most important bands. But ever since I heard the song called Misery, I realized that this could actually be something interesting. As I mentioned on Patreon, I already have a full album reaction for this particular album, Sudden Sky. You can come check it out. It's 30 minutes long. I react to every single song that's not a single and kind of give you my insights as I go through them. So go support to check it out. Crown the Empire decided to experiment a lot with the sound and different styles, and they definitely have taken a new direction in the music, which mixes alternative rock with like modern metalcore / post-hardcore. I find this kind of interesting how a lot of these bands, they tend to soften their sound to make it sound more radio friendly or more rock-like. And if you think about it, the bands that have past experiences with far more complicated genres like metalcore, post-hardcore, coming into a much more trivial and generic, I guess, genre, such as rock music, they actually have potential to bring a lot of those complicated metal features into a more mainstream rock music, making it just that much more interesting and that much more refreshing and that much more alive. My favorite tracks of the album would be Misery, Red Pills, and Blurry. Misery is just an interesting experiment with styles. I have a reaction video on that too. It creates a beautiful and surprisingly banging listening experience. Red Pills gives off a lot of new metal vibes, some of that Linkin Park, and has a lot of very cool melodies. And Blurry just has one of the best choruses on the album. The least favorites are probably What I Am, 20 by 20, and Under the Skin. Neither of these songs made me care enough about them that I just don't have anything in particular to say about them. I guess they're just very formulaic, or if they're not formulaic, they're just very inconsistent in the sound. Somewhere in the middle are the songs March of the Ignorant and Sequence. I couldn't really place them in my favorites or my least favorites, just because they're kind of weird. March of the Ignorant is the softest song on the album. Sequence is the heaviest one. Each one having a pretty interesting structure and, I guess, original sound. This album is an attempt to make something experimental, something original, and something that will stand out. And I think Crown the Empire has hit a nail on the head with Sudden Sky. Sudden Sky is not among the best albums of this year, that's for sure, at least for me. It is a solid turn into a new direction for the band that certainly brings a lot of new stuff into the genre of alternative rock. It brings a lot of stuff to the table that you don't normally see in rock music, like pretty brave structures, ballsy melodies, and awesome synths. And all these stylistic effects, they just make the sound so fresh and new and modern. At the same time, it's also a bit formulaic sometimes, and with lack of bass in the mix, It can feel a bit empty at times. As a rock album, I would say this is one of the best rock albums in my recent memory, but if you compare it to more heavier styles and genres, it's not the strongest. And it's not because it's not good, it's because it's way outside of standard metalcore comfort zone. I rate it 7.5 out of 10 and recommend it to anyone who likes experiments in music and everyone who is open-minded enough to accept new styles and new directions for metal bands. So thank you all for watching this one. Let me know if you want more videos filmed outside. Hopefully the weather gets cooler, because this is just torture. Make sure you support me on Patreon if you want. If you don't want to, or if you can't, don't worry about it. It's enough for me that you watched this video and gave it a like. You better give it a fucking like. So thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think about this new format, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.